Hey there friends, it's me Peter, coming to you from a special on-location edition of Peter's Storytime. I am right here outside New Trier High School to celebrate today, June 3rd, 2017, my 10-year anniversary of graduating from New Trier. I can't believe it. It really makes me feel old, to be quite honest with you. But you see, although my graduation was 10 years ago today, I actually didn't graduate physically here at New Trier. The ceremony didn't happen here at the Northville campus either. No, my high school graduation was actually held right behind me in the building in the way back Welsh Ryan Arena, right here on the Northwestern University campus. As you can see right now, it's under construction, so I can't go back there. But Welsh Ryan is basically the only place in the area large enough to house New Trier's entire graduating class. As I said, my graduating class was over 1,000 people. I just remember being so nervous on graduation night. I remember walking around, just pacing back and forth in my white tux. Really didn't know what to do. In fact, I even watched the final countdown by Europe, the music video, to help prepare me for this night. I remember my parents and sister all gathered in the car. We all went down to the arena. So after we found a parking space, then we all basically split up. I was supposed to go into the foyer area, or like a side gym, to meet with my advisor group, Mr. Ruiz's group, and my parents and sister then went into the main arena where they could find their seats and get ready. The actual pre-ceremony, I really don't remember all that much. I know we had rehearsed it. Basically what we did was we were supposed to go in, have our arms linked with someone, walk down the aisle, and then split up and go find our seats. My partner was a girl named Madeline. After we checked in with our advisor, we then had to go stand in line with our advisor group and make sure everyone was there and accounted for that was supposed to be there. When I was standing there, I just remember thinking to myself and just being really nervous about what was happening and not really thinking too much and just, again, being really nervous. And then out of nowhere, Mr. Tebby, the senior boys advisor chair, shouts, "Are you guys ready to graduate?" That's when I realized, oh crud, there's no turning back now. So Madeline and I walked next to each other. We get to the gym, we link arms, and it is literally a sea of people here. Hundreds of parents, grandparents, cousins, relatives, aunts, uncles, you name it, there's everyone here. I mean, hundreds upon thousands of people. I felt like the tiniest little ant in the world right then and there. So we walked down the aisle. I said to Madeline, good luck, and then we split apart and we took our seats. The ceremony started with Dr. Stacy, the principal, getting up and, saying a few words, and then she introduced the choir, which performed a really quick song. I don't even think it was like 3 minutes or so. Dr. Stacy got up and continued her speech, and then as she was concluding her speech, the beach balls started. You see, it's kind of a tradition at New Trier to smuggle beach balls into graduation with you and then blow them up covertly and then launch them into the air. I never did it. I just want to get that straight out of the way first. I did not do this. In fact, one of them actually fell at my feet and the people around me got really mad at me that I wouldn't hit it up. Sorry, I don't want to contribute to disorder. And I just remember the superintendent, Dr. Yonke, seemed really, really annoyed by the beach balls. I remember at one point she stopped her speech and goes, "I still have quite a bit to say here." And the speech continued on. And then we had our class president give a speech, which was nice. And he actually talked about his grandfather and how he bought a ticket for his grandfather, but his grandfather had actually passed away, so that there was an empty seat just for his grandfather there. And then after that, they started calling the names off. And boy, oh boy, did that take a while. I mean, that's over 1,000 names. I know people that graduated with 30 in their graduating class. I graduated with over 1,000. The good news is they basically had 2 people calling names at once. They had Miss Scott, the senior girls advisor chair, and Mr. Tebby, the senior boys advisor chair, calling out names. And then it was time for me to graduate. The graduation assistant at the end of the aisle gestured for us to stand up. So we all stood up and we marched in line to the side of the stage. One by one, we went up across the stage as our name was announced by Miss Scott. When it came my turn, I was nervous. I remember I stood there, took a deep breath, handed the slip of paper with my name to it to Miss Scott, and started marching across the stage. And as she announced my name, I felt the entire gym looking right at me. And then I went up, I shook hands with Mr. White, who was the assistant principal, shook hands with a member of the Board of Education, and received my diploma from him. And then I walked off stage back to my seat, and then I applauded for the rest of my classmates, and that was it. I had graduated. I had officially graduated from New Trier High School. And man, I really cannot believe it. It was surreal. It was unbelievable. And I'd done it. I had actually completed 4 years at New Trier High School. So after the graduation ceremony at Welsh Ryan Arena, and after I went around congratulating all my friends on their graduations and accomplishments, we then had a little dilemma on our hands. We had a few hours to kill because there was a major celebration that was going to be happening later. So what were we going to do in the meantime? Well, we decided to go grab dinner. Now, my mom and dad wanted to know if I wanted to go somewhere fancy, somewhere exciting, you know, something like that. I told them no, I would be fine just getting a McDonald's. Yes, my friends, my graduation dinner was McDonald's. I think it was just 2 hamburgers or something. Yeah, 10 years later, in retrospect, I really wish I had ordered something besides McDonald's, because that's really not that special of a meal, especially for your high school graduation. So after we ate, we went back home for a little bit, and I want to say it was about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, the next part of the graduation ceremony began. And believe me when I say this was probably my favorite part of the evening. I was then driven to the Northfield campus, specifically the F building, otherwise known as where the gyms are. We went inside, our names were checked off, and then I walked into something amazing. They had converted the gym into this amazing venue. They basically had a band performing on stage, they had carnival games, they had tables set up. It was truly amazing. And for the rest of the night of June 3rd, nearly every single one of us, nearly all 1,000 of us, stayed in that gym and spent the entire night partying with each other, reminiscing about each other. They had a slideshow going on, which unfortunately I don't think anybody has a copy of anymore, which is really unfortunate because I would have loved to have seen that. But it was a fantastic way to end my 4 years at New Trier. It was great seeing everybody one final time before we all headed off. I got a ton of hugs that night. I got to see all my friends again, many of whom I haven't seen since that night, actually. Got a lot of pictures taken. It was great. I even got a hug from the girl that rejected me to prom. And, you know, that to me was important, because it's like, you know what? Who cares about this? We're graduating now, and let's just put this behind us. And then it was about 5 in the morning when the party started to end, and many of my friends took off for a special location. This right here is the beach where at 5 in the morning all the members of the New Trier class of 2007 gathered on the night of their graduation to watch the sunrise over Lake Michigan. But unfortunately, I was not among them. And the reason why is about as dumb as you can imagine. I had told one of my coworkers that I could fill in for her at work the next day. She came into work at 9 in the morning. So I basically had to get just a couple hours of sleep before heading to the library to open it up and work. And you know, I look back on that day 10 years later, and I just think, what was the matter with me? I understand what my mindset might have been, but it was the last time I was seeing many of these friends, many of whom I might not even ever see again. And I chose work over that. And to this day, I am kicking myself for that. I don't know why I did that. I wish I never did that. And now I can't take it back. But despite that, graduation night was such fun. It was a great experience and a wonderful way to cap off 4 years at New Trier. Thanks for watching this special On Location Peter Storytime, my friends. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos from me, simply click that subscribe button down below. And be sure to tune in next week when I show you some highlights from my vacation back home to Wilmette. Until then, this is Peter saying see you later.